Hi everyone, it's Adrian Leah. I wanted to do a quick update for those who have watched the last video. It'll be shorter than the story time that I was sharing about the things that were happening because I wouldn't, stuff happened, but just a little bit of a spoiler that it's done. So I about the being that was walking on the ceiling. It was interesting because one of the nights I was like 2 nights ago, I was sleeping and I was awakened by the fairies, and it's nice that they um, stick around and they like to keep an eye on things too because they were warning me or like trying to wake me up as more of a defense, so another line of defense, I would say. And just to say that I feel like, in terms of other worldly beings, the fairies have definitely been the ones that I connected to a lot, and I would say, um, I would say first, of course, like growing up in Catholicism, there's also the angels. Um, but I would say, like, on my path specifically, I, when I chose the path that I was on and not, um, I didn't go on a path that was just dictated or because somebody told me or that's what I was brought up as. And there's nothing that I hold against with Catholicism or anything. It was just something like with the path and leading to kind of the fairies and everything, it kind of was natural, and it was what I gravitated towards. It felt a like a homely type of experience. When I was younger, I actually would go out into the woods near my house, and my house isn't my first house that I grew up at grew up in. It's not too far from here. It's actually like 5 minutes away, less than 10 minutes. And I would go into those woods, and I remember like just laughing and like running on the logs, and it was just fun to me exploring that area and not being exactly super open, but I feel like it was a happy energy. And I didn't really have a lot of social interaction growing up, so I kind of kept myself entertained. And so I had a couple occurrences with the fairies too. Like one time in my first apartment, I had like, there was the toilet that, I don't know the terminology, but it was running and then it was going to just leak over or overflow in the middle of the night, and I was sleeping, and then something just like at the nick of time, like I just woke up, and before it was going to do anything, I was able to make sure that didn't happen. And so this was kind of like one of those moments, except, on a grander scale, of course, and I really appreciate it because they're also the forest beings too, and it's nice again to have um friends, and even they feel more like kind of spiritual family in a way, that they would let me know, because I was waking up and then something was like trying not to wake me up, and then I saw the vision, and then it was like this figure, and um I said my incantations, and then the next day the um well, I had a dream, and the dream really cemented like maybe where like the being was, because it wasn't like cryptic. It was kind of cryptic in a way, but also like when I saw, I knew, because it had like this other area, like a shutter door kind of, and it was like next to this door, but it was like on the wrong side, and I was like, there's no other door, and then I remembered that there is a door on the other side where like the um stuff for the house is, like to heat the house, I think. And so I did a couple things, but ultimately Archangel Michael, I saw another vision, because he there was another instance where he did this too, where it was like kind of flying and then went down with his sword, and just literally the vision was the angel like slicing through like down the middle of the being that was trying to do other things. So I suppose it was more like a job that he was fortunately, of course, able to take care of. And just to backtrack, I was talking about doing this before, when I was put on a team by the grandfather energy, and we were going, it was like the ogre, respectively, and then the ascended master that was helping and keeping, basically giving me a cloak, and the cloak was filled with light. And I would say that the being is like an alchemist. There is something that is like creating with that being, like that being does specific things, and that cloak helped me go through when we were going down the to hell to get this stone that didn't belong there. That was a lot of readings ago, but I feel like maybe you might be able to find that reading if you are curious about that story. But it was interesting because like seeing me on different, I don't know if like universes or worlds, because I was literally seeing myself, because there's one, I don't know, I feel like I bumped into some being when I was down there, and then for some reason my hood, because I was supposed to like keep myself covered, it went down and I got burned, like, and I saw the vision of me getting burned. And then the Ascended Master like immediately put me into a room full of light, and then like I healed for a little bit, but we had like a short time for when we were going to be there. But in terms of uh Archangel Michael, when we got the stone, and the stone was filled with like memories, happy memories that didn't belong there, of people and the memories that were taken. Um, it had to be purified, because it was almost like a cryptex, or it was something that, of course, like it's not just, well, it wasn't easy necessarily to get the stone, and that it wasn't easy to like unlock the stone in a way. So eventually, when the stone was unlocked, there was like this spider-looking demon, and then Archangel Michael did the same thing, um, like being in the air and then slicing through that um that being, and then the stone was purified after we did the other things. So the other portion of it, with it being like the male energy, of course, like it was within that moment, and sometimes you do those things, and sometimes it might be with no artistry and might be seen as like barbaric, but I just returned to sender, and that covered that. There was, oh, after the being was cut, there was like a whisper saying it's over. And I thought that was really affirming. So I tried to come back earlier that night because I was, again, I try not to run the errands super, super late, but there are two entrances for the backyard, and I went through one of the entrances on this side, and then I was about to go back through that entrance, and um, the entrance, like I used my light. Luckily, there was a spider web there, and I was like, of course that wasn't there before, so I was, I don't really want to, I don't want to walk through it. So I go through the other side, and I was like, okay, so it was clear, and I go through, the doors that I need to go through, and then I get to this room, and it was unusual. I forgot the lights were on because I usually turn off the lights before I leave. And when I opened the door, there was literally, like, I caught this. I don't know, I guess pat on my back, but I was about to walk through the door, but I didn't. There was a spider just like dangling and going down, and I stopped in time. Luckily it was just like a daddy long legs, and it didn't walk into the room, so I just let it be. Um, I felt a little shielded too because, well, thankful with Archangel Michael, but also I have my Thunderbird Dreamcatcher. It was in the car and I kept it there because I was thinking like trying to reorganize stuff. But I took it out and like I kind of felt like a little shielded when I was walking in, and so it felt like really nice. And then when I was holding it yesterday, it felt like, with the concept of the dream catcher, I was getting like the vision when I was holding it on my lap. It was almost like space, and it was uh mm, almost like an area of deep space type of vision of it like going through. So I feel like it was just doing the thing that it was doing, and I'm super grateful that I have it, that I've had it all these years, and um, it was put, it was made lovingly by my friend who is also Native American and a tarot reader. And then I put my love into it too because I have cherished it over the years, and I'm trying to make sure that it is shipped safely for my next move. So that was the events. And I know the fairy stuck around the next day too, just to check on things, which was really, really kind. So I gave my update and I'll get started on the reading. I don't really have things specifically planned, but I do have my deck for this reading, and I'll use the other decks that I've been using too. And then the other night when I was thinking about angels and I got the vision of like a taller being, like in the vision, because usually when I have visions of specific maybe beings or spiritual spiritual beings or like deities or God source is different. I have specific visions about that. I usually get them like a lot taller or larger. I suppose like on the humans based off of the human scale. Cards are jumpy today, so I feel like there's messages. The card that turned over is You Know What to Do, Archangel Uriel. Trust your inner knowledge and act upon it without delay. And I haven't noticed this before, I don't know why. But it's also the blue and yellow, so I feel like that could be significant too. I did get paint for painting. I have been wanting to get more paint for a little bit, mainly the black one because I mixed the colors and I didn't see it in the regular craft store that I would go in. So I had to go somewhere else and it's inexpensive. It's just the cheaper paint, but I like the effect that it has the effect that I'm going for. And I did get more blue and a brighter yellow. I thought that it would go with the blue that I get. And I did get another shade that I'm excited for too. I tried not to get too much because I do have some, and although it's inexpensive, I would like to try to use as much as I can. I got white too because well, I use it to mix the colors, but the the white that I have isn't empty, but it's been like I've had it for a while and it's starting to get like oh, it is jumpy. They are jumpy today. This one is the Page of Pentacles. I feel like I don't feel like it has to do with my story time, but I do feel like there's things to do, like things to prepare. This feels like a preparation card. And I'm not using it, not like I'm judging anybody, but for some reason Preparation H is coming up, and I just feel like it kind of is like if you have been enduring something and it hasn't been pleasant, now it's time to like work on healing that. I just figured I would say that I'm not using it in case there are questions in people's minds that people might have about that. And with the way that, like, the cards, like, I guess that I put them down, it kind of does this. So the past, the words that were about to come out, but I wasn't going to say it like that, but I'll say it the way that I felt like it was going to come out. The past is interrupting the future. So this could be past energy, it could be a past person. Maybe you're going to hear from like results or like you applied somewhere. It can be from a person like you had a conversation and maybe it dropped and now like it's picking back up. There's just something where maybe something was stagnant and now it's going to begin again. I feel like that's it, where something's beginning again, because you have this light here that is standing out. It's interesting, like when you read and then for like 80 readings that you use this deck, and then you're like, that I never really paid attention to that until now. This card came up last time. It's Victory. Archangel Saldaphon, your prayers have been heard and answered. Have faith. There has been a consistent energy, I would say, and that would be really ideal, especially with that Page of Pentacles. With the Pentacles suit, specifically with the court cards, the archetypes, I feel like that it is a good indication that you kept maybe gradually putting energy towards this. Now, in terms of the past interrupting the future, it may have been like you already handed in this application or had this conversation and it was kind of like left on red, or it was left for the other person to respond, or they said that they will respond like in a manner that I guess was it could have been out of convenience, but it could also be like a process too. But either way, it's a victory card. Another stronger, not strong, but stronger card. Well, I was going to say not stronger, but it came out the other way. So maybe take your power, take back your power. Archangel Raziel, use your God given power and intention to manifest the blessings in your life. I'm sorry, like I say this in some readings that like for some reason when I read these cards, like I can't read the cards. And they're, of course, straightforward, and yet for some reason I get tongue tied when I read them. And then Passion, Archangel Haniel, trust and follow your renewed passion in your love life and career. This kind of reminds me of like, how it's getting darker and it's some people dub it as there's like some different names, but it's spooky season and I love spooky season. Um, and then like they would joke around being like, people love to get the pumpkin flavored stuff. They love the spooky decor. They just go all out. Sometimes like they're just all autumnal and really embracing this season. And again, oh my god, wait, where's my phone? I was like, oh my god, so rude. It's actually September 11th, but I guess I didn't realize it because it's late at night. It's like 2 o'clock in the morning. So I was like, did I go this whole day not realizing it was September 11th? Anyway, um, Thank you for those who have given their lives on September 11th, and for people that have lost their lives on September 11th, um, and for people who have survived September 11th. So, I was literally about to say, like, how did I not know? Like, it is literally, like, I should have known that. And it could be coming back from, like, those harsher times, because it is, like, those jaw-dropping, like, surprising, deafening, um, like those, almost like the Judgment Day type of horns, like, when you hear them, or like heart dropping, that type of energy, and it kind of is like coming back and trying to find other ways to um move in your life and be at peace the most that you can. And of course, for a lot of cases it's not overnight, and it's okay. And whatever pace that you go and try to reclaim your power, maybe it's immediate where you're like, I'm not going to have it be like this. And, some people were like that day on September 11th, because the planes that were like taken over, there were people that tried to like stop the hijackers, um, people that wanted to help the other people that needed to get to safety, or find people that were under the rubble, um, and those who were stuck in the buildings. And they were extremely like tall buildings, and being able to go all those staircases to get to safety, because the building was collapsing too. A lot of stuff in the air, just so much going on. And I was a state away, and I still saw it, not only on TV, but I saw it from the distance too. So it was, um, I didn't see as much of it, but like maybe like an hour more, because people definitely saw it across the bridge, and they were just like looking like in shock about like what just happened. And it really did change America. I'm gonna keep pulling start. So it really did change America. It's not as, we're still a really free country, but there's way more regulations than what we used to have after 9/11, especially like with airports. Like, good luck trying to get away with stuff on airports, because you're not. Which is not a joke, it's just, it's a reality of things. Oh yeah, and it changed in a lot of ways, because with we were America was in war. I don't know why it took me so long to say that, for a long time. Okay, so I feel like there's sorry, there's an angel like on the side of her, and for some reason I feel like that at least there's a main person. This could be a love reading. It could be a guide too. But the angel kind of looks like leaning. And it could be for comfort, it could be maternal, or both. If it is love, it doesn't necessarily mean maternal in like a, not in the other way, but just in a loving, nurturing way. But it feels like there's an energy that looks up to another energy as if this victory and take your power back and like you know what to do and even passion. There's like that fiery spirit, like the phoenix energy that like just emits from this energy. And with the Page of Pentacles, and the Page of Pentacles isn't one to just like drop something as if like if they don't succeed the first time, they just are like, oh, I didn't do this the first time. That means I can't do it. The Page of Pentacles is a consistent energy. It's a studious energy. It's one that really puts their time and effort into learning and doing. And even though Pentacles, it is really of the action of it and finding that it's tangible. I say action. I would say wands are action oriented. There's a lot that goes on with this. Um, but I would say overall, the time that it takes to do something, commitment is what I'm going for. So, out of all those words that I was saying, you have another court card of the Pentacle suit. So, it's the Queen of Pentacles, and before that one is the Ten of Swords. And there are some words on here, and it's interesting because, well, the Ten of Swords is like maybe it was the past because it's towards the end of the cycle, and maybe it was like left without a response, and it was kind of like left dry, and maybe it's been some time and it just might be resurfacing, as I said, the past interrupting the future. um on the card, it's for the page, I'm sorry, since I was about to say page, it links to the Page of Pentacles. So the Queen of Pentacles and the Page of Pentacles, um nurturing, security, family focused, wealthy, solutions, pragmatic. So I feel like with this Page of, I'm sorry, I keep saying page. It really has to do with the Page of Pentacles. With this Queen of Pentacles, I feel like with the Page of Pentacles, it's saying that she's not sitting on the sidelines, like she's actually up and about and doing all these things. And that feels like the force of nature type of energy when I was like reading the oracle cards, and even with the truth and integrity. The truth and integrity also feels like being your authentic self and not being held back by it. There was also, I was in, what is it? It was like a live with Fiber Love Diary because she does live sometimes. And she was talking about not being able to be fake, and then people are like, I can't be fake, my face gives it away or something, and I'm like, yeah, I can't put my time towards people that aren't genuine. And that goes with jobs too. um I I feel like I go to jobs and I refuse to put on a different persona. Like this is what you're gonna get. Sometimes I had to chill out because sometimes I remember the other, like the owner at the pharmacy, um she's like, Adrian, and I'm like, basically to like some of the, but the customers, like the patients know me, and some of the customers that were shopping for the supplements, they already knew me for the years that I worked there, so they're like, ah, it's just Adrian. And I'm just like, what do you want? And the owner's just like, Adrian, and I'm like, sorry, can I help you? But they know I mean well because I feel like they, in a way, respected me because I wasn't gonna give them like a false answer. Like I gave them answers to probably information or things that like other pharmacies may not have given. And I think it there was just that dynamic too. Of course, I I wasn't gonna make us look bad, but I was going to be honest about things. So the Queen of Pentacles came up twice. So this is a dog that I had. I had two dogs, both of them were huskies. This one is an Alaskan husky. So her name is Belladonna. Um, Technically Belladonna Datora. And of course I named her after um, poisonous plants. But I, like with Alaskan huskies, they're bred to race. So that is the type of like blood, if you will, that she has. And even like with personality, with the Archangel Oracle cards that I keep bringing up, there's just that like persistent energy because I don't know if you know the Iditarods or like mushing, like with the Huskies, and mainly I heard Malamutes pull a lot of weight with that too. They are the larger breed. They run for in their packs for really long periods of time, and it's that persistent energy that you get from it. And also, I did get her from a shelter too, so it almost feels like another shot at life. So, with that, there could have been some things that get brought up in the past. With her, it may have been like behavioral things, but getting past that and looking forward to the new life that she has. Just to say, she's with my one of my exes, so it's okay. Um, but there's just the energy of like the gift that keeps on giving, where the page, I keep saying page, so it's really Page and Queen of Pentacles that is just like not giving up. And it may feel like there is little that you get in return, but it's a bigger payoff in the long run because you have the Six of Pentacles, and the Six of Pentacles here has Maka, Maka being one of the aspects of the Morrigan, and she has a spiral there too, tends to be one of those traditional symbols. But in that area, it does feel like a birthing energy, and that definitely takes time. There's also pine there too, towards the side and looking past. So being in um, being in that area, because that's where I have seen her, and with the pine, also getting clarity from that and seeing things from other perspectives and also getting the truth even with the card Truth and Integrity, the truth about yourself. So, uh, with butterfly energy too, it is really transforming into a different form of yourself. And I was also thinking about that with like tadpoles turning into frogs. So definitely like a growth period, and even that, even like the birthing period goes with that too. This could be an elevation and also with taking your power back and upgrade. You have the Three of Wands and the Ace of Wands. There is an expressive energy that comes out of it. And I was talking about the past, and even with the Ten of Swords and the Three of Wands here, it seems to be autumn. And autumn is that transformation too. It is the beauty of death and everything that comes with it. And it is about being able to let those leaves fall at the time that it needs to fall so that things can grow again even stronger and more luxurious than it was before. So there is a beauty in the golden leaves. And as I've said before, a tree knows when its leaves need to fall. So there could be different avenues of taking it. Just because with the Ace of Wands, it kind of reminds me of like finding your own wand or finding your own whistle, if you were. Because, like with tin whistles or penny whistles, however you want to say it, there's a lot of different types. And it's different from a flute because one is chromatic and one is, um, what is it? One can play multiple scales and one can play like two, maybe three scales or keys, I would say. The word's not, for some reason, it's not Pelotonic, of course. But whatever it is, based off of the different materials and even with the grade and quality of it, sometimes you might get a shrill sounding whistle, others might be a sweeter one, others might be like really robust. And depending on the key that you're trying to play, you could be playing a higher key, lower key. It might require more air, and it will be lower if it needs to be lower, or if it is lower just because of the key or where it is, or a lot higher. So there's different avenues of where to take it, and I feel like knowing what you already have in your arsenal and your past experience can go a long way too. Oh, diatonic. So chromatic and diatonic. I was about to look it up, but I didn't need to. The Ace of Swords comes out. I would say with the Ace of Swords and the Ace of Wands, it's great that they're kind of like, when you're in class or you're with like your best friend or something, and it tends to be like a group setting, and you're asked to like pick partners or like to work with somebody else and you're like, okay, I know who I'm gonna work with. It kind of feels like that. The Ace of Swords and the Ace of Wands just like are kind of like that together. But I'd also be careful with not getting carried away because it could be easily amplified and so amplified that it gets out of hand. But just because maybe you want to center that energy or focus that energy so that all the energy can really be placed in areas that could be beneficial, it it's not taking away from like the authenticity of that energy too. This is with the Seven of Cups. This could also be sacred energy too with the menorah there, and it can be desires. Since I say sacred energy, I would say that it could be a sacred union too. And if it's not with a person, it could be like divinely guided or like even destiny if you believe in that. The obstacle is the Six of Swords. So there might be an internal conflict. I'm going to link that to the future card, the Tower. So major arcana there. Because it's all been like kind of like fine and dandy type of energy. Even when it isn't like fine and dandy, it just feels like everyday energy. And then all of a sudden, like a big event happens. And in the past, it's the Seven of Swords. So the Seven of Swords kind of feels as if you needed to walk away from something even though you didn't want to. So this could be backtracking and trying to find your way through the maze and back into maybe the person's arms back into the position that you were in, something that you had to leave. It could be needing to go to a different area to get work experience and then coming back to something. This could be people that like are that go to different work in different areas or go to different colleges and then coming back together, that type of energy. Because it feels like energy of like, I'm coming back for you. And again, it doesn't need to be for a person specifically, but um, I feel like it could be. I feel like the Six of Swords really internalizes things and is trying to gradually move forward and like piece by piece figure out those thoughts and being able to heal it at different times if you can't heal it all at once, and it's not usually the case that you can heal it all at once. But this is strong energy because of the archangel cards, as I said, that there's a persistence with it. This is one that like just doesn't give up. So even when the world feels like, and it could be like feeling, or it is crashing down, there's a way that things rebuild. like with the Tower card, if it comes back, it's going to be different. And this doesn't feel like a past relationship energy. It's like if you went out with somebody in that way. It feels like unexpected turn of events, and then it is able to be rectified, especially after the Six of Swords. After the Six of Swords gets past that grieving phase, it could be grieving even though it's swords and not cups. It's that energy mixed with the Seven of Cups that has a strong desire and wants to work past these blockages. And in the past, there's the Seven of Swords. So I feel like there is that movement that works through it because Six of Swords and Seven of Swords. And with the Seven of Swords relating to famine in this deck, like historically, it also may be looking back to like certain events and what it teaches us because we can always learn about the things that have happened in the past and how can we make things better or do things differently so it's not going to happen in a detrimental or catastrophic way. I feel like it could be good because the current energy, because there's like heavier energies like in the past and in the obstacle. It's the Four of Wands. Sorry. Um, the Four of Wands. Sorry, I was spinning fiber before, so I guess it's like just in the air. Because the Four of Wands, it's like happiness or at peace. So there could be creative ways to get past the past. And with the instrument there, and then there's also the instrument on the Ace of Wands. It can lean towards like maybe creative expression through art, and you may do the art or maybe somebody else does the art. Let me just pull out another card for the Tower and then I'll read for the from the Oracle book. It's an interesting take with the Tower because the card that clarifies it is the Page of Cups, and there's another instrument there too. And it's like almost music to your ears or something that is soothing to you. It kind of feels like with the Tower card, if it's going back to origin, it's going back to like a time, place, or person or event, even if you will, an opportunity where you feel like it's a good resolution, it's a peaceful resolution, it's going to make you feel at ease and happy, and it's a desirable thing to do. It's really starting fresh and maybe a different environment. There's something that is super welcoming about this change because a Tower card is usually something that it is like a destructive looking card, This one is not a destructive looking card, but there are a lot of things that happen in buildings like this that can be destructive. It's just such an interesting take because it's like really going back to a place because it's going back to source and rebuilding from it. And I really like that. So let me just read the um, oracle message. It's interesting because well, it's going alphabetical order for this, but since the Ten of Swords was here too, it feels like it starts over, and then the Truth and Integrity is the last card for this deck. So you are guided to be very honest with yourself and to be true to yourself in all of your activities and actions. The angels say to you, let go of anything inauthentic and all activities that do not mirror your highest intentions for yourself. If something in your life isn't working, be willing to release it to God and the angels. When we open our hands and release unhealthful situations, the divine light can enter. Miracles always follow when we surrender troubling conditions. You'll find that the job, relationship, health issue, or other circumstances heals rapidly in ways that you could never have imagined. All along the way, the angels will perfectly guide you into actions that will either help to replace the situation with something better or heal it entirely. Expect a miracle when you decide to be true to you. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in another video.